cap. That's why I sing the blues, faulty feelings I fall back.
What's good, gang? This is Piccolo Black, and this is the K688 by the good folks at Fifine. The K688 is a dynamic broadcast style microphone that costs under 100 USD. Today I'll be comparing it to the Shure MV7X because it's the only other broadcast style mic I have, and see if this budget mic can really hold its own. Now, it's so crazy that Fifine reached out to me and sent me this mic because I've actually been looking for a mic to use around the house when I'm not stuck at my desk. So this is actually perfect timing because this has portability. The connections are USB-C and XLR, which is a big win for flexibility, and it has two physical knobs for gain and headphone volume and a mute button, which comes in handy, but the mute button can only be used with USB-C connections. All of those functions on the back of the mic can only be used when using USB-C and not with XLR connections because you'd be controlling it through your user interface anyway. As it stands right now, the current price for this is $79 USD, which I think runs at about $120 Canadian. But specs will only take you so far, so let's actually take a closer look at this mic and test how it sounds. Now, I'm actually using it right now, so this is what it sounds like when I'm on YouTube. Just for clarity, my user interface cuts off about 100 Hertz. It's easier for mixing and making videos. So with that in mind, this is how this mic sounds, and this is how the MV7X sounds. I'm not going to be able to hear this back until I'm editing the video, so you let me know how this sounds in the comments. From what I can hear going off of this recording, the K688 seems to come out on top when it comes to crispiness and brightness. Don't know if you can hear that, that's me tapping around. But I think it does a better job of proximity sound, which is very important to someone like me. Where I think the Shure MV7X comes out on top is when it comes to warmth and body. Let's test out the USB connection, but we'll test it out recording a track. I set up a EQ here because on my audio interface, I'm automatically EQ'd at about 80 Hertz. Took that out just because it helps me in mixing stages. Let's start with the USB and then we'll test out XLR, and then we'll also compare it to the Shure.
Mission, now I'm doing fine. No, I didn't wanna listen. Now you wanna grind when you see me on a mission. Nothing left to do but to talk about old stats. One thing misconstrued, knew you always was on cap. Tried to build a crew, but the team had no cap. That's why I sing the blues, faulty feelings I fall back. Mission, now I'm doing fine. No, I didn't wanna listen. Now you wanna grind when you see me on a mission. Nothing left to do but to talk about old stats. One thing misconstrued, knew you always was on cap. Tried to build a crew, but the team had no cap. That's why I sing the blues, faulty feelings I fall back. Mission, now I'm doing fine. No, I didn't wanna listen. Now you wanna grind when you see me on a mission. Nothing left to do but to talk about old stats. One thing misconstrued, knew you always was on cap. Tried to build a crew, but the team had no cap. That's why I sing the blues, faulty feelings I fall back. Let me know in the comments which mic you think performed the best. As far as latency was concerned, I didn't get any latency with the USB. I still want to run a few more tests with the USB, one of which being in my car. Yep. I know some people personally that have recorded their whole albums in a car, and it's pretty cool. The noise cancellation is pretty cool. I've got my aircon on right now, so this is what it sounds like with background noise too. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Could you imagine having this whole setup in a car to record an album on a tablet? And what about like when I'm just upstairs chilling? I don't know, talking to some family on FaceTime with a cool mic. I don't know if I would feel comfortable talking like this in a call with a mic in my hand, but I could just set it down like this, point it upwards, boom. Let me know your thoughts. One pro for me is the affordability for something that has a XLR and USB connection. Additionally,
that adds to the portability of this mic. You can use it in any scenario as long as you've got your USB wire, which this comes with. It comes with a Fifine USB to USB-A and USB-C cable, so you don't have to change out the wire. It has both. Let me show you. It comes with this piece of Velcro, and it has a USB-C and USB-A attachment. Another pro for me is the fact that this has a solid build. It comes with a shock mount, and it has that professional look that you need. And if you want that gamer look, there's some other color options, so that's pretty useful. For the price range that you're coming in at, it has great sound for spoken word, streaming, and not professional level of recording music, but still really decent for recording music. I've had worse mics, trust me. And yet, again, with the USB convenience for beginners, for those that can't afford to purchase an audio interface right now or don't know if they want to make that big jump, you can start out with something like this. Use the USB connection, it works fine. I didn't experience any latency. And then you can still move up to getting a audio interface and then just buying an XLR wire. You're good to go. I would say the detail when it comes to recording music isn't as polished as the MV7X, but the MV7X isn't exactly made for music either. So I'd say they're a bit, it's like they're almost neck and neck, you know? If a room's untreated or you're not using a noise gate, you will get noise picked up in the background. So that's something to look out for. But then again, I don't know any mics at this price range that can do a better job than this one. Software support is minimal. Some people might see that as a con. I see that as a pro. I don't like downloading stuff when I get new hardware, especially when it's supposed to be plug in and play. So yeah, at $100, I'd say that the Fifine K688 punches well above its weight. So if you're a beginner streamer, musician, or podcaster looking for a versatile mic, this could be a great choice. But if you're looking for a studio quality mic, then you're going to be looking at a higher price bracket, and this wouldn't be the mic for you. I'll leave the links below if you want to check it out, and let me know in the comments which mic you prefer and what you think of the sound quality of the K688. If you found any of that information useful, or you're just still here for the vibes, feel free to hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe, join the crew. It's up to you. I've been Piccolo Black. Catch you in the next one.